guys, out here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. I am not alone. I am joined by MadCapper. MadCapper, welcome back to the channel, man. How you doing? It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Good. It's happy to be here. It has been a while. It's been a pleasure. Glad
yeah,
to be
dude.
back.
We had you. We just did a collab on MadCapper's channel as well. We talked about some arena tips, a little bit of my backstory, probably boring stuff for most of our viewers, but check it out anyway to support MadCapper. And today, I noticed that you did a video talking about some champions that you regretted, some legendaries that you regretted building. I love making videos like this, and I actually made one a few months ago with YST. I went back and I made sure that I didn't pick any of those champions. So I got 5 fresh legendaries, and I know you do as well. And I know there was some debate in your comments about bro, you're sleeping on this champion. And I want to see if your mind has been changed on any of the champions that you chose. So you are the guest here, my friend. You go first. Tell us who is one of your legendary regrets.
All right. So we talked about this champion on my video, and some people were like, dude, this bird, they got me through Faction Wars. They got me through. Gameran is one of the most disappointing champions that I have ever put books into. And I'm telling you, books were scarce. I wasn't buying book packs because I don't need epic books. So I was I'm like, this is all earned, and I booked them out. I made them fast. I put them in 350 speed, 354 speed, had them slow, 140 in stone skin. I tried everything. The theory was, in live arena, everyone's bringing double revive. Oh, hey, here's a guy that can actually block revive. He's got true fear. He can steal random buffs. He can block active skills. He sucked. It was awful. It didn't work. It was the most disappointing mess. The reality is he doesn't survive, or it has to happen within a turn, right? Like, you have to kill the person, and then he has to use that, and it just was not.
It's not a 4-turn cooldown, man. And I know there's some card-carrying members of the Gameran fan club in my viewership, because I hear from you guys whenever I take shots at this guy. And I guess I can understand how maybe he could help out in Faction Wars a bit. But is it worth booking a legendary to get through Faction Wars when there's a lot of really good epics in Shadowkin, you know? I agree with you on this one. I would love to debate you on all these champions, but Gameran, I agree. He's trash, but his kit is cool looking, you know? He's cool looking too.
He's cool, yeah.
He's cool looking. It's very unique. Amazing. He's fast, 109 base speed. So he's an easy champion to take a chance on, I feel like, you know? But I agree, he's kind of a book and resource suck because I don't know. Dread Invocation, you can't use that. And I mean, you can use it in Ice Golem, but that's what you're going to be your strategy, to target a dead minion. That's going to be his use case. If that's his best use, then pass on me too. All right. Okay. I'm going to go with Claydna. Claydna, new Sylvan Watcher, Void Legendary. I pulled her and I'm like, wait a second. Whenever you pull a new Void Legendary, even if they suck, you're like, wait, they don't suck. I'm going to be the one to figure out their kit or whatever, you know? So, at first glance, not that bad. She's going to sleep on the A1. She's got an AoE decreased speed and a leech on the A2. She got a heal based on 20% of this champion's max HP on the A2. So, again, really good A2. There's no way around it. Can't talk smack about that. But then she has block debuffs and a revive on death on the 3-turn cooldown. Okay, she has a 30, make it a 60%. She has a completely blocking incoming damage on the first hit of an attack, occurs once per turn. So on this Fey Monarch, MadCapper, I was like, dude, this ability could be insane, you know? But it's only the first hit on her. I thought it might be the team, you know, on an AoE, and I was really excited about it. And okay, so one hit on her, 60% chance, whoop-de-dooped. And then what is she trying to be other than that, you know? Block debuffs, revive on death. It's not bad, but I don't know. Okay, Sky Touch Shaman, you know? And where am I supposed to use her? What am I supposed to do with this, you know? I feel like her kit, to me, if I pulled her in maybe the super early game or on my mini account or a free to play, you could definitely get some utility. Maybe it's Hydra, maybe to help you a bit on Sand Devil, but certainly not a Void Legendary status for me, at least. What do you think of her?
Yeah, I think, gosh, I mean, she's confused for sure. She's got debuffs that help one thing and then
Yeah.
revives that are something different. I do see her for Sand Devil, but the reality is probably if you don't have a 24, if you have a 24 team, you probably have Ninja and Godseeker. And so why would you take the time to build her when you just have that?
Yeah.
And the flip side is if you're farming early, you don't need this. This is not, it's an overkill. So she looks cool. The kit sounds cool, but you're right.
Like it is. I built her with confidence that, okay, I'm going to find out what I can do with this champion. But I mean, she's not dealing any damage. She got a single target on the A1. That's it. She's not reviving. You know, like she's got to heal. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I made my point. I couldn't find anywhere to use this champion. Again, early game progression, sure. Faction Wars when it's open, sure. But that's about it. Who you got next?
All right, my second one. And this is probably the one that hurts. Actually, I'm gonna save the one that hurts the most for last.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Blood Gorged, and he's an old school champion.
Yeah. Oops.
He feels like he should be good still. He's Force Affinity. He's got this beautiful block revive. Hits really hard. Great multipliers. But the problem is now there's 1,000 champions. There's probably 200 champions that hit one champion. Am I going to use him over Rotos? Right, for single target?
Yeah,
absolutely not. Yeah. So then you have to say, is his A2 going to do anything to boost him over all these single target nukers? Right, and the answer is no. He puts one of each target skills on cooldown, and I promise you, if you're in the arena, it's not going to be the one you need. It's always going to be the one that who cares, right? So I would rather use Alika. I would rather use Basher. I mean, I have Warlord in Yumeko, so that makes it even harder for me to use them, but just only putting one on, and this AoE doesn't hit hard enough. It doesn't hit AoE nuke level. So to me, it's just like, great, he's got a single target block revive that hits extremely hard, but there's still better single target nukers than him, and his AoE is just kind of underwhelming. Now, I could see, again, like you said, if you're early mid game, this is your legendary, fire it up, right? Use them, but honestly, I'd be remiss to put books in him in the early game. I'd just use him for what he is until you get something better, because his kit, he just doesn't. It's that A2 that really just doesn't hit hard enough. It doesn't do enough. If he had Alika's A2 where put everything on one turn cooldown, I think he would be a usable champion for most people.
Okay, Blood Gorge. This is an interesting one. I'm higher on him than you are, but I'm also not like I don't use him, so I'd be talking out of both sides of my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, so his A2, my memory could be failing me, but I thought it hit harder than what you're alluding to. I thought it was like in around the 4 neighborhood, or 4.5 or something on the multipliers. His base attack isn't that high, but his A3, that deny revival is so juicy. The only problem is like what, Stone Skin, right? Like I don't know. I agree with you. I would rather have a Turvold, I'd rather have a Rotos, I'd rather have like quite a few single target nukers out there, even like a Constantine, the Dayborn. But, you know, in terms of deny revival, if you don't have it in an Ithwian, you want a revival denier, I don't know. I guess maybe an upgrade from Fenax, I guess, right? And if that's the best thing you can say about a champion, that probably says enough, right?
And I think the biggest thing, and he does have a 4 multiplier with slightly less on that AoE. He's only a 3.6 on that A3, except for ignores 100% defense. So guess what? And this is probably what made it worse, is trying him out in live arena, is everyone's got a Harima. And so you know, that's true. It negates that half of that. With such a low multiplier, if it doesn't ignore 100% defense, you're left, holding the bag, so to speak. So I think that was the biggest.
You know, you're right with Harima on that. That's a good call. With that multiplier and Harima being in existence, being alive, that's a good call out. All right, my next is going to be Borigar the Elder. So this guy looks super cool, dwarf, legendary, HP champion, got a lot of HP, a decent amount of defense. Nothing really stands out in terms of his stats. So what does this dude do? He's got the removing a random debuff, just one from all allies, and a shield. I don't know, man. I want a full cleanse or remove 2 debuffs at this point in the game. I want, that's not a great ability. And then we have increased resistance, increased speed. Not bad, but it's a 4-turn cooldown, man. Like, he was one of the first. I think it was Matab and Borigar the Elder were the only increase resistance champions in the game for a while when it was first introduced. So that's what got me to invest in him. I was like, okay, increased resistance, yeah. And then I realized with time that increased resistance and decreased resistance are not that great in terms of buffs and debuffs, at least in my opinion. You know, usually if you're going to build a high resistance team, it's going to be like a high resistance cleanser. You know, just you don't need all the champions to have high resistance on the team. And even if you do, like there's Stone Skin now, so you don't really necessarily need. There's a lot of reasons why high increased resistance is a nice to have, but it's tough to build your entire strategy around that. But maybe at some point in the game, we'll have a need for it. Anyway, since then, there's been increased resistance champions, quite a few added on a 3-turn cooldown, and then increased speed on a 4-turn doesn't excite me at all. He does have allies receive 10% less damage from champions whose resistance is lower to theirs or equal to, which is nice synergy with the A3. But again, these buffs are only lasting for 2 turns. I mean, that doesn't excite me. That's it. I mean, I think he was frankly, I think it was a waste of resources for me. I regret building him.
I would love to disagree with you on him because I feel like his kit begs to, but here's the way I look at it. When you look at his overall kit, he kind of reminds me of another champion. Not quite. There's no increased resistance. But if you look at Tagore,
oh, my favorite epic.
Who has the
but
shield.
He's way better, though.
Who has a revive and a heal and does the lowest defense. He basically has everything but that resistance piece.
Yep. But his
instead of resistance, on a he's reviving.
Yeah.
It's just a better kit for a better chance. So you're thinking, oh, I'll use Borigar in Hydra. Well, no, I'm going to use Tagore in Hydra. And I'll find someone with an extra buff to make sure that I don't have to deal with the Head of Mischief, rather than making everyone at 300 resistance, so the increased resistance, and what if it drops down for it's going to drop for a turn because it's a 4-turn cooldown. So yeah, I wish I could disagree with you there, but I agree with you.
When a non-void epic is clearly better, that's going to be an issue. So Beauregard, sorry bro, who you got next?
My next one is, and I will tell you first off, I think this champion still has a ton of use. I just couldn't find it on my account. I just felt like I was using her for the sake of using her, and that is Trameria of the Dark Elves. She has a lot of sneaky good going. She's got a 23 ally speed in all areas. She's immune to sleep. She fills turn meter when an enemy tries to put a true fear, freeze, provoke, sleep, stun, petrification on his champion. She's got turn meter manipulation. She's got stuns. She's got decreased speed and fear. All of that sounds amazing, except for 2 problems. The first problem is polymorph, and she's got debuffs. So what's going to happen is she's going to try to put a decreased speed on an A1. You can't not use her A1, and you're going to get polymorphed. And number 2, she's immune to sleep debuffs, and she gets turn meter with all the rest, but she isn't immune to all the rest. So great. So she gets petrified for a turn.
But you get a turn meter boost, yeah.
But I get a turn meter boost, so she gets out of it quicker, but then she still has no turn meter when she's out of it. It's not like it's anything magical. And I think that's the biggest problem with her, is that I wanted to use her in Live Arena again because people would ban a speed lead, and I had her in my back pocket. So it was like, fine, ban the speed lead. I got her, and you're still screwed if you let me use my Warlord, because my Warlord's really fast. But the reality is, other than making my Warlord even faster, that was really the only thing she was accomplishing. And I think she's close. I really wish they would move this uncanny, maybe put it on a 1-turn cooldown, but make it so it ignores all of that. So it's immune to all of it. Instead of it's always immune, just a 1-turn.
Yeah. Or they could just do a Leo type ability, right? Where while the A2 is off cooldown, she's immune to all that stuff. You know, like that's easier. Yeah. And then it gives her some real viability. And I also invest in this champion. I would love to disagree with you too. It's good to disagree with these videos because it generates some commentary. But I actually agree with you. I also pulled her, and I also was like, I can get something out of this champion. She's pretty cool. But just like you, first of all, she's not dealing any damage at all, right? She's an attack-based champion with 2 AoEs, you know? Granted, she's a support champion, but her base attack is 892. It's impossible to scale. And, like, you know, again, I'm not looking for her to be my main damage dealer, but if I want to throw her in Hydra or something like that as a cleanser, you know, I'd like a little bit of something with 2 AoEs. Nothing. Like, minimal. Barely touches them. And then it's like, this A2, what is it going to do in Hydra? Like, I like where you were thinking Arena with this champion, because I mean, I can't stun or decrease turn meter, so that A2 is a no damage AoE waste, basically, you know? It's on a 4-turn cooldown. Anyway, I agree with you. She does not scream Void Legendary, and the last thing that we need in this game are average Void Legendaries to dilute the pool, right? So, agreed, man, agreed. All right, this next one, I'm going to save my most controversial for last two, and we're getting controversial territory here. I'm going to go with Gergo the Augur, a champion that I feel like a lot of people probably love, but I really feel like this dude has been power crept quite a bit. First of all, he has this really cool ability, removing 2 buffs from all enemies, 100% freeze, extra turn. That's really good, right? And then you come in with Avalanche. Problem is, Avalanche doesn't hit that hard. It's on a 5-turn cooldown. It doesn't hit that hard. It's not like ignoring defense or anything like that, you know? And really, that's it. So we got the freeze, and we got the A1. You know, if he was going into a nice AoE or something after the extra turn, I'd be really excited. But we just have Avalanche. He does have this Frost Embrace, which is a cool kind of passive freeze as well. But all said and done here, man, like with the meta right now, with Stone Skin and just like everybody having plenty of answers for freeze, I think that freeze in general, I mean, now they're coming out with all these champions with 3-turn stuns, like Ragash and stuff. Like, freeze to me is kind of like, it's been power crept a bit, you know? So anyway, what do you feel about this guy? Like, I used to like him, but now I just don't like him anymore.
I think he got me my second plat finish. He was very strong, and I almost disagree with you. I want to again, because there's so much to like about this champion, but he does suffer from 2 main problems. First of all, the cooldowns are not where legendaries are, especially Void. We're talking Void legendary.
Yep.
We're talking 4-turn cooldown, 5. You know, like
yep.
That's not doesn't work. Secondly, a champion like this can't be attack anymore. It could be attack when they brought him into the game.
You're right.
But he needs to be a defense. or an HP based scale check. If the exact same kit were on a scaled HP based, because that passive could be devastating.
Yep.
But he's dead. So then maybe one person gets stunned, 50-50, one person's frozen, but he dead, and you're probably dead next. The other thing is you've got all these HP and defense scaled champions that you're fighting against, and this isn't just arena. This is high-end Doom Tower. This is hard level dungeons. Defense makes them take less damage. So you're actively making them harder to kill by freezing them as compared to stun.
Yep.
So he's definitely power crept. I think it'd be simple to change him to make him better. I don't think it'll ever happen, but
They might. I mean, this is to your point though. Like, I know some people are going to be like, with all 3 of my next champions, right? Like, I know people are going to be like, "What? You're crazy. You're crazy. Like, he can help me on Faction Wars or CC in areas." But again, like now, with all there's so many champions that I would just rather have at this point. Like, he used to be pretty decent, but now, I mean, are you going to get excited for a 4-turn freeze with the extra turn anymore? Like, that's it. Where are you using this guy? You know? Like, even in Faction Wars, like, just give me a bunch of, like, Biggins and Nukers and stuff, you know, and Grush the Manglers and throw them in a stun set. You don't need the freeze, you know? To your point, I hate how freeze makes it harder to kill them, you know? It's almost like buffing them with the strengthen while we're at it, with you know? Anyway, I made my point. Who you got next, man?
Okay, here we might be having a little bit of a discussion.
Okay.
This one was a hot topic in my comments on my video.
Okay, I'm ready to disagree, man. I'm ready.
Sigmund.
I disagree.
I know.
All right. I like this. I like that you're picking a good champion, though. All right.
So let me give you the case. First off, when he first came out, I dumped the books into him right away, and he's got this. Whenever he's attacked, has a 20% chance to decrease in duration of all buffs by the attacker on one turn. He's a legendary champion with a 20% chance to do something. There's a 20% chance I'll visit you next week, which means there's an 80% chance you're never going to see me. You know, like it's so hard to like such a RNG pain.
Oh man, I can't believe you started with this. To me, the passive on this guy, it's just a little bonus, MadCapper. It's a little bonus, and it's 40 against bosses too. It's a little bonus, but it's not the highlight. But okay, why else don't you like him? What do you have? What's your issue with the AOE ×2 provoke and decrease attack? What's your issue there, man?
What I do like about him, and I like his A3. It's a 3-turn strengthen and a shield of 30% of this champion's max HP. But what I don't like is when they make champions that are defense based have an HP scaled skill. Drives me bonkers. Maybe I have PTSD from Warchief, who, if you build him correctly, you build him with HP, because the more damage he takes, the more lost HP, the more he reflects. But he's a defense-based champion, so he can't do any damage if you make him HP and not defense. This feels the same to me. I want him to have 100k HP and just be this fat, unmovable object who
the
puts
male
strength. Strength doesn't matter for
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he's a defense base. So guess what? If I do that, he hits like a slap fight between two watermelons. Like, it's just nothing.
Okay. I mean, listen. The way I look at this dude is I don't look at him as an S tier legendary, but I would. This is gonna sound crazy after you took a big dump on my man here, but I would put him as like a B or an A maybe tier legendary. That's how much I like this dude. I mean, he's got defense and Doom Tower battles. Again, you know, it's kind of a little niche, but it's 40%, so it's really good. He has that, again, the equitable is just a nice little add-on. His A1 is a nice A1 too. 100% chance of removing a random buff, and then removing shield too. So not bad. Then we have the AoE ×2, 3-turn cooldown, each hit 75% chance provoke, and then 100% decrease attack. Really good control there in terms of being a main provoker for Hydra. And then that support ability, to your point, having the strength in there, having that beefy shield. I just feel like he's bringing a lot to the table, MadCapper, you know? Maybe you'll come around someday on him.
And I tell you what, I am working through trying to use him in Hydra, because that's kind of where everyone says. What drives me nuts again is that we have a legendary who, granted, it's a 2-turn chance, so it's 75% ×2, so it's usually going to land, but it's only a 1-turn provoke on a 3-turn cooldown. Well, unless you can talk the Head of Decay into being slow enough on Nightmare that I can get back around to this, and there are ways, but the reality is I still have to have a second, so I still have to have a Krisk. I still have to have a Husk.
Bivalt or something like that.
So I'll just use Krisk and I'll just use Husk. And I think that's the hardest part for me. The decreased attack, not going to argue it. Especially if you're up against the Head of Wrath.
Yep.
You know, or even a couple of the other ones Torment hits pretty hard.
That's how I like this guy though. Like I think that Sigmund is a good complement. Like, this is not going to be again an A tier or S tier Hydra team, right? But like, if you pair a Sigmund with champions like an Archbishop Pinthroy, right, who has the heal and the increased defense, right? He also has a shield as well, but like, you're getting some, you know, he has the strengthen, he has the shield, he has the heal, increased accuracy there. Or you pair him with a Bivalt of the Thorn, right? Again, he's coming through with the big heal, and he's also helping to provoke, right? So like, 2 provokers on the team, right? I think there's this nice synergy there from all the AoEs and everything else. But anyway, again, try him out in Hydra. Get back to us. See if he can win you over, man. All right.
I don't have Archbishop Pinthroy or Bivald, which is ironic.
Oh, man.
I don't have either of them.
I love Bivald's great, and I think everybody kind of knows that he's really, really solid. But I love Archbishop, man. I have a soft spot for him. He's one of like my most underrated champions. I like the increased accuracy and the block buffs on everybody on that A2. And then that's really good support on the A3. He can be a really good like support carry on Hydra. Okay, now I'm going to get to the place where everybody starts to hate me. And this one, I don't know why people like this dude so much, but I do not understand Saito. I am a Saito hater. I've never said it on the channel, and I feel a little bit better now that it's off my chest, MadCapper. I don't like Saito. I have and I know you do too, because we were talking a little bit off air, but we both have a 6-star blessing on this dude, or 6-star awakened. And like, man, I've tried every which way to use this champion and to get anything about getting excited about him. He has a cool passive where he's supposed to like get better over time on Vendetta. Attack one enemy, attacks all enemies except the initial target if there are 3 or more enemies alive. So some AoE potential, albeit on a 4-turn cooldown on the A3. But I don't know, man. I don't like him. He doesn't do that much damage for me. No matter how I build him. What am I missing on Saito?
I want to disagree with you again because his kit's almost so good. And it's Cerberus Arms, who's a good dude. He's legitimately a good dude if you've ever checked out his channel.
I have not, actually. I knew he was based on him, but I haven't dug into the content. That's cool.
It's kind of neat. He does a lot of sword stuff now. He used to do gaming, but he's kind of moved over into...
Oh, that's really cool.
So he self-buffs.
He does.
You're like, oh, awesome. Attacks one enemy. When this hits hard, it hits hard. But only if this champion's defense is higher than the target's defense.
He has 1100 defense.
What? He's an attack-based nuker.
That's so stupid.
That's the part that kills me. It reminds me, and again, it puts me into like Quargon the Bull, or the Quargon the Awful, is what I like to call him. Where he only puts part of your team under veil. This is the same thing to me. It's like,
what is he?
Why would
Organ?
you?
I forgot what he is. No.
Quargon, a lizardman.
Lizardman. Okay.
There's not enough veil in the game, and you're like, oh, this gotta be good. But his veil only puts it on, like it does
attack higher than
it does a block instead, and it's the same thing here. Like, why would you limit this ability? Should be if his attack's higher than the target's attack.
Yes.
I don't need help killing Georgid.
Exactly.
Falls like a strong breeze will knock him over.
Yeah.
I need help killing Siphi, and he cannot kill Siphi. I need help killing Duchess. He cannot kill Duchess because his defense won't be higher, and that's his biggest problem.
And he's not ignoring any defense or anything like that, you know. So like, I don't even know where we're supposed to use this dude, you know. Faction Wars is
he's got a 3-turn cooldown. If the target still has more than 50% HP, which I mean, you're playing live. A lot of them probably will.
Yeah.
It's a cooldown to a 2-turn.
Yeah.
So in theory, this is really great. It's just get rid of that stupid defense and the target's defense. And the other one is, you know, like you said, it's a 4-turn cooldown on the one if 3 or more enemies are alive. So what happens if there's 2 enemies? He just hits like a wet paper bag.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I know there's a lot of fans of Saito out there. He's a cool looking champion. He looks amazing. I really wanted this dude to be really good, but I can't get any. Forget just.
You know where he's good? He's good in the clan boss.
Okay. I mean,
because the clan boss has such low defense.
Yeah.
Even Ultra Nightmare is like 1540, I think.
So I guess so his only use is clan boss. Whatever, man. I don't get out of bed for a clan boss.
There's so many good champions.
Yeah,
in the clan boss,
I mean, Jintoro, right? I'm picking up like Jintoro is a champion who is, I think, kind of like mediocre, but a god in clan boss. And I think Saito is mediocre and good in a clan boss. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too much of a hater now, but you guys can let me know what I'm missing on this champion. Who you got next, man?
All right, this one's probably going to be even more, but this was it's fresh.
It's okay.
I pulled him during the 2-time voids, so like just recently, a week ago. And I built him out. I booked him. I got him all ready to go. I dressed him up, put him in the live arena, and then I watched him attack someone wearing stone skin, and I just quit the match. I
know who it is already.
And that's Aleal.
Yeah, I knew who it is already. All you had to do was say stone skin. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to disagree on this one, and I think most people are going to agree with you on this one, but go on. I'll make your case.
I think he's better than I give him. I know that he's better. But here's the deal. You don't pull Georgie. I didn't pull Georgie. I didn't get him. I pulled another Nick, and I pulled Aleal. And so I'm thinking, well, okay, I've seen it happen once. I haven't seen a lot of people, but he's new. Maybe just a lot of people aren't using him. He should be similar to Georgie. Georgie hits through stone skin and gets extra turns for it.
Yep.
So clearly this guy doesn't get the extra turn. So clearly he's going to hit as hard. He just doesn't get the extra turns because he has this whole buff swap thing.
Yeah.
Where he gets polymorphed. Where he absolutely doesn't get polymorphed. And that was the biggest hurt for me, is like, this is where I thought, wow, all that stone skin, where am I getting? I don't get stone skin in Doom Tower. I don't get stone skin anywhere. It's in Arena. And that thing he hit, like, I mean, I might as well have brought Elhain back and just used her because she hits as hard as he does.
Okay, totally agree with you. In terms of the damage, like super disappointing, and that really mitigates his use in the end game, right? So like, no argument from me there. However, a few cool things about this champion, right? His passive, Force of Nature, right? The increase is really cool, right? The first part, but fills his champion's Trameria by 10% whenever they receive a buff is super cool because it allows you to build him really slow with attack base and try to mitigate some of that damage with attack percentage boots on him, right? Because all you got to do is that Trameria is going to fill up anyway, and even if he's super slow, that will get him to his first turn. So that's cool. His A1, really cool. Can't resist the steal, so he can steal Stone Skin on his A1, which is cool, but then again, you're not really opening up with his A1 necessarily to steal the Stone Skin. It makes for a kind of an awkward first turn sometimes, but either way, pretty cool A1 nonetheless. His A2 is just trash, basically. I mean, the problem is you can't kill anybody with it, so the Stone Skin element, you almost got to throw it out the window. So that's the sucky thing about his kit, and when they buffed him or reworked him or whatever, I was hopeful. I was like, wait, this could be cool. We could use that A2 and it could be awesome. And that's just not the case, unfortunately. Furthermore, it doesn't ignore block damage with all the Helicaths out there and stuff like that. Like, I really wish it did, because Jiragids, to your point, he ignores block damage and unkillable as well on his. I would love to see that on this ability, considering it doesn't even hit hard anyway. But on the A3, I really love this ability. Yes, Polymorph is a thing. Polymorph is a little bit easier to work around, just a little bit now that they add the accuracy component to it. But it's just really cool to remove all increased defense and strengthens, and place a weaken and decreased defense, and a block buffs, and all of the removal and everything can't be resisted. It's a move that, like, I won't lie. Once in a blue moon, someone like pulls out an allele on me in the live arena, and I almost like laugh. I'm like, ha ha ha, allele, very cute, very cute. And then I almost like, not anymore, but the first time I think I went to get him, I forgot about his A3, and I'm like, oh shoot! Like all of a sudden, my whole team was in decreased defense and weakened. And I'm like, and then they nuked me down. I'm like, okay, allele, all right, I'll tip the hat to you, but. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's not exciting. For a 1630 base attack, dude, you'd think he could hit a little bit harder, right? So I agree and disagree. I think he's a very cool champion, but boy, is he underwhelming with the damage, you know?
Yeah, and on a Void Legendary, like you said, the 1630 attack, and we only have one other champion that really does what he can do.
Yeah.
You would think they would be like, with as much as they gave some of these champions that they come out with the damage they do, like Georgie, like you know, Tara. It's not the same kit, but that's the pure damage you can do. Here's a Void Legendary. He's a new Void Legendary, and the one skill you need to hit hard, again, is like, it's so underwhelming. It's beyond underwhelming. It's crazy underwhelming.
It is a shame. I wish they would go in there and buff that damage on the A2 again. I wish they would. I mean, to your, comparing to Nutcracker, to your point though, like he gets the extra turn if he kills the enemy, to a strong AoE with the Trameria increase that can't be resisted. And again, he has the unkillable and block damage ignores. I mean, just so, and of course his passive is OP.
50% chance.
So yeah, I hear you there. Okay. And what they could do, honestly, to Allele, like an easy way to fix him without having to go in and change the multipliers and everything like that, is simply like give him an ignore 25% of target's defense or something. Like any ignore defense on this ability would be great, you know? All right.
And I will say, because he doesn't really need accuracy, because I think the A1 might need accuracy, doesn't it?
No,
it can't be resisted. So he doesn't need accuracy at all. So you can build him for resist now that they've nerfed polymorph a bit, but there's still 6-star polymorphs out there.
Yep.
You know, and that's who this guy I need. I don't need him. I don't need help. For the person that doesn't have those 6 stars, the mid tier, I can beat them. It's the whales that I need, and they have 6 stars. So it's kind of like,
No, that's true. Okay, this is the last champion of the video, and I'm gonna do it just to piss everybody in the world off. So I did something. I did a dumb thing, and I'm gonna talk smack about a champion who's really pretty good. Sir Nicholas. But
I disagree.
But I disagree. I just wanted to give you something to strongly disagree with you with, right?
This court is out of order.
There you go. There's a 90% chance that you'll disagree with Sir Nick, and everybody else will too. Here's the thing. There's a reason why I regret building him, and that is that I actually bought him with the champion tokens or whatever. I only have one copy, and I bought him in the shop or whatever, what life tokens. There we go. And boy, he's not worth 6 legendary dupes, man. So that is why I regret building him. So it's a little bit of a cop out, but I will say this, this ability, Goodwill, used to be incredibly OP, unkillable, but now there's way better options out there, right? And unkillable is definitely way worse than block damage at this point in the game, in my opinion, at least. So, I mean, because unkillable, you're left with 1 HP, and then you die after the unkillable falls off, whereas block damage, you're left nice and hardy, right? Furthermore, you have, Iron Twins and stuff that unkillable doesn't even matter anymore. So this ability is not as good as it once was. It's still decent, but it's on a 4-turn cooldown. And then he's got the shield, the AoE with the shield, and some decent damage. AoE with the shield, give me Miscreated Monster, MadCapper. Give me Miscreated Monster. So there you go, man. I think that Sir Nick has been power crept, and I know everybody's going to disagree with me, but I'm just not too excited. I don't use him. Do you use him? Do you love him? Tell me about him.
Well, I do use him in Faction Wars.
Okay. Just for damage,
he has
basically?
been power crept.
Yeah.
But I think the power creep that he's suffered has allowed people to use them in other ways, and I think it's a real opportunity to explore other options for him. And I've seen him, and I've tried him out a little bit, and it hasn't been bad in 3v3 arena. And the reason why is because of the protection sets. Because this guy has so many buffs he puts up, AoE on the team, he's got unkillable, he's got continuous heal, he's got shield. If you can get a 6-star protection on him, that's really going to go far in a 3v3 stall defense. His 22,800, you can put him in a bolster set instead, and the shields are going to be beyond crazy. And I think, he's been power crept out of dungeons because unfortunately you've got.
I mean, you can still use him as Ice Golem, I guess, right? As a support.
Yeah. I think the problem is too many good champions, and all it takes to pull 1 or 2 of them. I think that's what happens. So for us, he gets power crept. But I think if this was your first Void Legendary champion, you've won the game because he's still going to do so much work for you. And whereas Miscreated Monster suffers from one major thing, and you want him to do damage, but because of the ally protect, if you put too much crit damage on him, he becomes too squishy because of a broken code in the game, essentially, that ally protect damage is based off of their crit damage. Whereas this guy doesn't suffer that. He puts the unkillable, and there's not much in the way for progression for getting through unkillable. So from that perspective, I think he's still a strong champion.
I'm not trying to say that I'd rather have Miscreated Monster, but to me, there's close enough to where the fact that I'm saying that a Void Legendary is close enough to an epic champion. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little unfair. I don't know. But yeah, dude, he just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. So I guess that's all our champions. We did. You did all yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah, I feel like we did our list. You guys let us know in the comments below who's your biggest legendary regret in the game. Maybe your top 2. And who do you disagree with the most out of everybody on our list? I'd love to hear from you guys, see what you guys think as well. I just started a live arena battle because I thought we were going to just chat more about Sir Nick, but we didn't. So I will give you a moment. Tell us a little bit about your channel, man. Tell us a little bit about you. I mentioned you obviously before, to my viewers, but how did you get started? How long have you been playing? And what type of content is your favorite? What would you say? How would you describe your channel?
So, first, I've been playing since August 2019. I've been part of the Chofly / now Aftershock United group since virtually the beginning. I've been part of Chosen's Clan since the beginning, and I got started playing. I was playing Walking Dead, and you get free, something they don't do in this game. You watch a commercial for another game, and it gives you some free resources.
Don't give them any ideas. Right? Don't give them any ideas, man.
They'll do 2-minute videos.
You watch it.
So that was part of the thing. In Walking Dead, you used to go and you watch the thing, and you'd get some energy so you could do some more turns. And one of them was Raid Shadow Legends, and I clicked the link, which I never do. But I was like, oh, this looks nice. And, well, the rest is history.
How about that?
My channel's my channel started with Clan Boss, and I still love Clan Boss the most. It's what I love coming up with new comps. I love trying new things. My favorite thing is I'll take Deadwood comps that are on the site, either his or from
Yeah.
and I'll say, okay, but I don't have these champions. What can I do?
I love that.
And I'll swap out. Like I did a Mythbuster, but instead of Lydia, I used Theodore because he's got the increased speed. So I used a fast Theodore, and then I used Draco. And let me tell you, Draco Theodore is an absolute. Like it is ridiculous how much damage they can do together. Stuff like that. I love to do.
Give me that video. I'll link it. I'll link it for my viewers. I love that, and I'll give you a shout out to. I mentioned this before to my viewers, but you do like the I max them so you don't have to series. Which that's how I first found your channel years ago. Is I was just looking for some niche champion that there were no guides on. I'm like, oh, who's this guy? He has a guide on everybody. All these random champions I'm pulling. So you've done a lot of work. In maxing out like just champions that no one really off meta champions, and then you give your honest assessment like, okay, they're not worth your resources or they are. I love that about you. I mentioned that on your video on the collab as well, that like you're not afraid to say, dude, save your resources on these champions, you know. So love that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's I think I'm up to 120 videos on epic champions, and I probably have 200 epics built.
All right,
which scares me to think I have that many.
To go. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of champions that I don't do videos on because they're already good, but I'm running out of bad champions that people don't have put videos on. So you're gonna see, like I did a Demetha.
Yeah.
Right, because at some point I'm gonna have to do those videos. So, but
it's good to do the good ones too.
Absolutely.
It's good to yeah. Well, hey guys, MadCapper, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I'll have the video that we referred to. I'll throw in a few of my favorite I max them so you don't have to series videos as well. We'll have you on again soon, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, guys.
Pleasure.
My pleasure's all mine, man. Guys, thank you so much for watching until the end of the video. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.